Hey guys, I'm majicDave, and this is Ambience. So I just thought I'd start off with that little intro sequence that I've been working on. I've just been trying to get the look and feel just sort of a little bit closer to what it might be when I'm done. And I guess all this sort of started because I started implementing sounds and music, and in particular that intro music. I found I've paid for that, I've licensed it so I can at least use it in this video, but that's the general kind of feel that I think is going to work quite well for this game. It's a little bit sort of circle of life, Lion King kind of, I don't know, it's got a really good feel to it, and I'll probably end up making my own music with a similar sort of feel, but this at least helps me to get an overall kind of idea. And once I put that music in, all of the UI just looked terrible with that kind of black and white and everything, so I thought that a more kind of, like a stone kind of look, more textured would actually look quite good. So I went ahead and did that. So we've got some sort of sound effects, basic sort of UI sound effects. I'll just load up this world. So I used Fmod to do that in the end. So first thing you might notice this time is grass. Quite a departure from the rest of the look, but I think it's quite good. I've been working on it for a while, and I've actually only a couple of days, but I've been sort of tweaking it non-stop for at least the past couple of days, just to try to get it looking nice, because I was kind of surprised. I mean, I sort of knew that it could work, but it started to come together, and I was actually surprised at just how nice it kind of did end up looking. So yeah, I wasn't 100% sure if it would be would fit enough to be in the game, but now I'm pretty sure. And not only that, but it's going to drive the look of some other stuff. I think these trees now look a bit flat, I suppose, and they could do with a bit more. But I don't want to go too far. I definitely don't want this turning into like sort of fully textured, realistic kind of look. So yeah, it's probably going to be quite similar to this in that it'll have just a little bit of extra kind of leafy texture or something. I don't know, but I'm going to probably work on that pretty soon. So yeah, as I said, I worked on the UI quite a bit. You can see down the bottom there, we've got these three guys. It's far from final, but it's just, I've changed that so that they've got faces and they've got some of the color of the new user interface. So that's, again, the kind of slate look, and we've got this kind of beige color scheme. I don't know, might end up, I tried gray, but it looked a bit sort of flat and dull, so I don't know, I'll keep playing with it. But just the fact that it's got these sort of textured edges and things, and it's also like that in these kind of menus as well. And I think it's a massive improvement. But yeah, I'll keep working on all of that. So as I was saying, I am using Fmod for the sounds. It's not great, it's kind of old, and it's like, it's a bit difficult to work with, but it's not such a big task that it really matters too much, and I have worked with it before a long time ago, so I just thought I'd use that for now. And I've written a sort of layer that allows me to do it, play sounds with all the scripts and everything. So I've got sort of spatial sounds that should, hopefully you can sort of hear that okay. I don't really know, I haven't tried to record audio before. Hopefully this is all working, but so they've got footsteps that sort of follow them around when they walk. We've got some digging sounds and placement sounds and things. They're all placeholders, but so they've also got particles. So one thing that I realized when I started implementing these 3D sounds is that the footsteps have to actually be tied to when the feet hit the ground, otherwise it's going to look and sound a bit weird. So what I had to do was put in some sort of trigger points into the animations so that when the foot actually hit the ground, that was when the sound played. So that was a little bit complicated, but in the process of doing that, I realized that I could also use that to put out particles when they actually chop or dig or whatever. So again, that's all. These are obviously need a lot of work yet, these particles, and they're a little bit stuttery too, I've noticed, and they're just coming straight out of the middle of the guys. But yeah, it's a good sort of start, and I think, yeah, we're definitely going to want particles, so it's good to have that sort of in place. And it's great that, you know, I can tie things to be triggered to specific animation points. That's really good. So another thing that I've been working on is to add stockpiles. So I think they're just in here. Everything's just getting chucked in here at the moment. I'll tidy this up later. But so if I now create a dirt stockpile, it just needs to be somewhere flat. Put it over here, and the guys will all bring stuff over and start stacking it up. So there's a few reasons for having this. One is just to allow you to like clean up an area without having to sort of manually take things one by one or assign things one by one. So it's working quite well for that, I think. It's also as a way of occupying your guys when you're busy doing something else or whatever. They can just go off and sort of collect stuff. Like if I now make a rock stockpile as well, you know, they're just doing work that's going to save time later. So yeah, it's a nice little extra thing to have. So apart from that, I've also worked quite a bit on the user interface for switching between the guys. I think it was numbers before. That still works. You can also use tab just to cycle through them. And then when you hit space, it brings up a user interface for that guy. And there's actually what they're doing there. And you can actually cancel orders. So if I just queue up a bunch of move orders, hit space, you can see that they're there, and I can actually just cancel them again. So I mean, that's probably not final as well, but it's just, you know, more steps towards well, they're necessary steps really. I mean, you need to be able to cancel actions. So yeah, I'll just keep working on that. There's also a follow command, so if I click on this guy, I can hit follow, and he's going to come over and stand kind of close. Yeah, I started that because I'm trying to get them to sort of migrate and be able to move around a lot. But then I started hitting a problem where I really need to work on pathfinding to get that working. I need to get these guys sort of... But it was just a bit strange, like if I get him to walk, like when does this guy start following him? You know, how close should he be? And it really just depends on like what they're actually doing and whether this guy's busy, you know, because yeah it's tricky. So I thought before I kind of carry on with that too much, I would work a bit more on the building mechanic, and that's really to get onto pathfinding, because there's no point in implementing pathfinding until I've got things to walk around, doorways to walk through, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're well into yak shaving territory here now, but yeah, so I worked on the placement of dirt floors. So they no longer let you place them on uneven terrain. It's checking just the four corners, so I guess you can probably still do like that. Don't know what to do about that, but yeah, so but you can place them like that. And so he's going to grab a piece of dirt from the dirt stockpile and place it, and now he's built some dirt. He's now actually standing on the floor instead of just on the ground below, so that's kind of a little bug fix there. And as you can see, I've been working on snapping. That was a fairly complicated thing, but one that's totally necessary, I think, for this game. So if you get close enough that it would overlap something that it can snap to, then it'll snap, or if you just mouse over the object itself that it can snap to, then it will snap, and it won't let you place it where it collides with some other thing that won't allow you to place it. As you can see, the grass is all poking through because I've only just added it, but yeah, I can deal with that later. So this will allow you to quite easily sort of make an interesting layout of buildings, I suppose. That, you know, they don't have to line up, but then if you do want them to line up, then they can. The idea from here will be that you'll be able to then place I don't know what's, oh yeah, that's looking a bit weird, there's sticks coming out of it and stuff, but yeah, so you'll be able to snap walls to these edges and stuff, and get them to build actual houses, which would be great. Really looking forward to getting that working. Okay, so just put this campfire here just to show the positional kind of sound again. So that's a constant emitting sound effect there. Yeah, I think Fmod's going to work out alright, and it's just nice to have some sounds in here. You know, then there's a lot more to go, but yeah, it's good to have a bit of sound. And speaking of sound, where are they? Over this way somewhere. Oh, here they are. So I've got my mammoths that walk. See, these all just spawn in a circle around the spawn point at the moment. But yeah, we've got the mammoths, and then we've got some chickens that are actually making really annoying chicken sounds. Yeah, and just sort of pecking around, all in unison, actually. Yeah. So I did actually work on some work on the animations a little bit. So they're improved in general, probably just a little bit smoother kind of movement. But also when you when the guys are picking stuff up or walking or whatever, it actually transitions smoothly between animations now, whereas before it kind of snapped. It is still snapping their rotations, so that just instantly turned. But they sort of, you can see that they sort of come to a standstill a little bit. How do I describe it? They don't just suddenly end up standing still. You know, they sort of ease into the new animation type. Yeah, so that's good. I needed to do that really before I could work on those animations for the mammoths and stuff, because I got a different way of dealing with that. So yeah, so that's all done, and soon they should be able to start. The mammoths should be able to start walking around. So I guess, yeah, one other problem that I had was, I don't know if you probably noticed in the videos, but there was actually a line that would show up along the horizon where the distant triangles would kind of clip through things that were in front of them. And that turned out to be quite a difficult problem to solve. It was caused by my my logarithmic depth buffer, which is caused by this world being so massive and all the kind of hackery I have to do to deal with that. But yeah, I've fixed it basically, and in doing so I also gained a huge amount of performance, and that's part of the reason why I can actually now render all this grass. Yeah, so that was kind of a tricky thing to deal with, but it's all sort of sorted, I hope. I don't think it should come back up again, and yeah, the renderer is going pretty well, and we just have to see how it goes with these leaves and things. But I think that's about all I have to talk about today. Let me know what you think of the grass. I wasn't too sure about it initially, but it's really grown on me, and I think it's actually going to drive, yeah, as I said, going to drive the future look of the game into something quite nice. So yeah, that's all for now, and we'll catch you next time.